All right, everybody, come on in. Thank you all so much for being here. Welcome back to your 30-day elegance boot camp. We are up to day 8. I am Maggie. You all may know me as Maggie, the substitute teacher for my cooking channel. I am all about food and femininity. I love helping feminine women attract and keep the masculine man of their dreams. Lucy and I are the founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, open to ladies of all ages. So if you're interested in refining your elegance, your etiquette, and your femininity, this is the community for you. So we are going to pick up where we left off. But before we do, Lucy, so good to see you. Please introduce yourself.
Good to see you, Maggie. Good to see you all coming in. And today, the engagement is going to be a little different. I will be presenting part of the presentation. There was always technology. It's just a little glitchy today. So, and I am not the technical person. Maggie is the technical pro here. So, we're going to try something a little different. Hopefully, you'll be able to uh, play with me with this presentation style.
All right, so I am going to pull it up, and Lucy, you can let us know. Let's see if we
Okay.
add that. Okay, so
Okay.
if you want to bring us up to speed, what we've done so far, up to day 8.
Okay. So day one was dress and grooming. We talked about, the colors, the type of styles, the uh, grooming style that you could possibly analyze yourself to be. Then, do I move it forward or can you move it forward? Who moves it forward? Do I
If
move it?
you can, yeah, if you could just go to next, then we should be able to
Oh,
see.
oh, did I remove
I think
it?
so. What happens when you click down or when you click on your Canva? Does it advance to the next?
No, it just disappears. Hold on. Sorry, guy. Let me see.
It
All right.
happens. See if you
Uh,
can.
oh, I'm wondering if I need to be on Canva.
Yeah, you'll need to advance it in
Oh,
Canva. Uh-huh.
all right. Okay, now I see. All right.
Uh-huh.
So let's see. So day two, we talked about creating your style. Day three, we talked about organizing your closet. I believe wardrobe here because I
Mhm.
think closet in Great Britain or England is called wardrobe. Then day three, shoes and accessories. Day four, makeup and hairstyles. Day five, look neat and smell nice. Day six, work on your posture. And then we started the new group of topics, conversation etiquette. Day seven, we talked about learn to listen. And then we were on day eight, which is think before you talk.
Perfect. All right, ladies. So we are just 1 week in, and you can see this is a lot that we've covered. So Lucy and I are passionate about giving back. We are doing this series free for the community. The Finishing School for the Modern Woman is where we have our private coaching. It's like a Saturday school. We just wrapped up our first session. Wonderful. This book is part of our bonuses for our students. And we are so grateful that one of our very generous sponsors, you all know him and love him, Brandon Eljet, has made this book available to all of our students, our current students and future students. So if you're interested in joining the Finishing School, enrollment is open. The link is in the description. You can go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. If you want Lucy and me to teach you, we start again in January. So Vivienne Abena has her own YouTube channel, Woman of Elegance. I highly encourage you all to check her out. She's on all social. So this is her book that we're actually referencing. So now I'm going to share my screen And we're going to go through her 30-day elegance guide. So what we're doing here is giving you all a 30 by 30 for the month of November. So the thought is if you start incorporating each one of these, you'll be well on your way to becoming more elegant if that's something that's of interest to you. All right, let's go over here to the book. All right, so you all can see here, if you want your own copy of the book, you all can absolutely, well, let me go down. You all can absolutely get your own copy. The link is in the description, and it is the Ultimate Elegance Guide. Vivienne is giving it to our followers at 20% off. The discount code is Elegance20, and you can see here, this is what we've been referencing. So like Lucy said, we are up to day 8, and I'm so excited. What I find very interesting, ladies, is that, when we think about elegance and we think about etiquette, oftentimes people think, oh, it's just the outward stuff, right? How you dress, your grooming, all of that. I love that Vivienne is including your conversation etiquette, because that's a big part of how we show up, relationships with men, our silent communication, and our verbal communication. So we're going to dive into that. I love this stuff. And I know we've got some introverts among us who don't necessarily like to be a social butterfly, but when you do speak, I think it's very important. What would you say, Lucy?
I agree. And again, some of those introverts, it's really hard for us to uh, find just the brief and short ways to start a conversation or the chit chatting around. We like to go into more depth conversations when we select the person that we want to have that conversation. Again, introverts, we're very selective about the friends that we want to share information with. We can listen to everybody's issues, but when we share information, it's a little more of a selective group.
I love that. And this is a great segue into Vivienne's topic. So for day 8, ladies, what does Vivienne say? Think before you talk. This is something I've had to work on. Before you say anything, think of what you want to say and gauge the reaction it may elicit or the effect it may have on the other person. So I want to talk about this, ladies, and this is something that I think should come more naturally to us as women, right? Just having that sense, that feeling, that EQ, if you will. For those of us, especially in the modern world, is very fast paced. And sometimes being in this masculine environment, we just, ha, or I'll say, that's how I used to be. I used to talk really loud. I used to talk really fast. I used to interrupt people because I just thought what I had to say was that important. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. But what Vivienne is telling us to do here, ladies, in order to be more elegant, is to think before you speak. And I know that sounds simple, but it is okay to have a moment before you just answer. Listen to the whole question. Or if you're in a conversation and you have something to say, I love what she says about gauging. Not only think about what you want to say, but think about the effect that it'll have in the space that you're in. If it's a one-on-one conversation, if you're at a family gathering, if you're at a business meeting, is it appropriate? And ladies, it's okay to say, give me a moment, let me just collect my thoughts, or I'm thinking about what I want to say. It's okay to just say that and take a moment before you say something that you can't take back, because we know words are very powerful. And we've shared, I'm 48 this month, Lucy's 57. We come from a generation where I remember hearing, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. So you don't have to say whatever's on your mind just because it's the truth, especially if it's unsolicited. What would you say, Lucy?
I absolutely agree. And it's interesting because as women, we are known to try to find filling words. Like if you're in an elevator and there's no one talking, you feel that you need to say something because that silence is uncomfortable. It's okay to take a pause and even just not say anything at all before you start maybe saying something that may not be received as well as not thought of.
Absolutely. And I see we have some finishing school students in the chat. And then we have introvert Boricua says, hey, ladies, yes, the communication part. Many women expect us to read minds, and we can't do that. So, one of the things that I've heard often from men, I mean, if you all don't know, I do private consults outside of this space. Lucy and I have group classes, and then I do one-on-one as well. And what I hear from the men is that communicating with us modern women is very difficult. So I love what Lucy said about sometimes silence is golden, ladies, and sometimes silence is really powerful. And I think being comfortable in the silence, I know I have to work on this too. You like sometimes when you're together, you just want to share because that's how we women bond is by communicating, but especially in relationships with men, especially masculine men are usually men of few words. And I've said this before because they're on their purpose and they're busy slaying the dragon. So they retreat and they may not necessarily want to have all of that. So there's so much that goes into communication. But yes, ladies, take a moment, think about what you want to say, and think about how it's going to land on the other person and just be mindful of that. All right, let's see. What else does Vivienne say? This is a great topic. I love it. She says, pausing to think before talking helps you avoid making mistakes or talking mindlessly. And I love it. Isn't that what Lucy just said? Ladies, we can ramble. One of the things that I've had to do in the etiquette classes that I've taken is to record myself. And being a content creator, like we're here for you all every night, November 1 through November 30, whenever you watch yourself back, you're like, man, I use a lot of those filler words. It takes me a long time to get to my point. I'm not really completing my sentences. I'm just kind of saying something and then turning direction. Like, really look at yourself critically and try to understand, try to determine, do I understand myself? So slowing down and using less words to be more impactful, I think goes a long way, especially if you're interested in being elegant, because one of the things I learned on my journey, I had to work on, elegance is not rushed. And for someone like me who moves like a bull through a china shop and is trying to do everything, I had to learn to really slow down. What would you say, Lucy?
And the beautiful thing about this relationship with you, Maggie, is that I learn a lot from you because you are an amazing communicator. Me, I have to tell you that this is one of my weak points because English is my second language. And sometimes it's really challenging to say something that you know how to say it, but how to put it together in the English language. You know that the English language is very hard because, we can get into that one later. But for me, the use of filler, the ums and the I use those while I'm thinking. And sometimes that's a little bit annoying for the recipient. So that's where slowing down and breathing and making sure that you pause in between the phrases that you want to say helps on not finding those filling ums because I am the first one to tell you that I use them a lot.
You are not alone. We all struggle with it. And ladies, there are resources. Toastmasters is something I've done at work. You can do your local chapter. Or one of the things that I do, honestly, this content creation has really helped me. We all kind of cringe when we look at ourselves. I found myself saying, a lot. And a lot of people, when I work with people from the North, they'll finish their sentence with such and such, right? And so we all have our thing, but just being aware of it and being mindful goes a long way if you need to correct something. And Lucy, you're absolutely right. Look, for any of our bilingual and trilingual and quadlingual sisters and brothers, shout out to you. That's one thing in America, even though I'm an immigrant, came here when I was one, so I only speak English, but I work in tech. And so I work with a lot of Indian people. And one of my coworkers, former colleagues, told me how hard the English language was. For example, the letter O is in do, like I can do something, is in go, like I can go somewhere, and is on, put this on the table. So one vowel has multiple pronunciations. And when we grow up just speaking English, it's like, yeah, everybody knows that. He says in Hindi, it would never be like that. The vowel has the same sound, however you use it. Spanish is the same, right? Es verdad. So um, I understand, and I just said it. But really, ladies, this is about being aware. Are you going to be instantly elegant in 30 days? No, we tell our students you have never arrived. But I love that elegance does not age. And even though we are older women and we have a heart for the young ones, we'll be working on this for a long, long time. So take time, think about it. And I think the person listening really appreciates if you are intentional with your words. And if you need to take a moment to collect your thoughts, I think it shows respect that you don't just want to blabber on. What would you say, Lucy?
I agree. And in fact, the more pauses you take while you're answering a question, people are going to say, she was very thoughtful about the answers that she gave to my questions. And that, especially when it comes to maybe the corporate world, I think that means a lot. I remember you said that some of us do not at times finish sentences. I am one of those. I sometimes just think about something, I'm saying something, and then squirrel. And then I think about another thought, and then the initial thought, I didn't complete it. And again, that's one of my weaknesses. I have to be more conscious about making sure that I follow through in that one thought that I was bringing up from the beginning to end.
I love that. I think, again, the awareness is huge. If you all have ever seen my cooking show, if you've ever seen me say, focus, Maggie, it's because like I'm really telling myself, get it together. Because if I get excited, it's a hot mess. What are y'all saying in the chat? We got a lot of comments on this one. LC says this is true even in the professional environment. Yes, and I love these. And ladies, if you were with us, was it yesterday or the day before where Sarah Badenova was here and she was talking about a lot of professional women? Sometimes we believe the lie that in order to be successful, we need to be more masculine at work. And Lucy and I are here to tell you, you can absolutely win at work and yet still be feminine. It really is our superpower. Erin Laura says you don't realize how many uhs, ums, and likes you use until you try not to use them. It's tough. Absolutely. And one of the things you all can do is, I think slowing down will help, but just pause. And like Lucy said, force yourself to actually come up with a word. Another thing that I do, I listen to, audiobooks or podcasts, or I listen to anything that is kind of self-development. I could really nerd out in this space. And young ladies, especially, hear me, hear my heart. We all love pop culture. We all were young once. However, if that's all that you listen to, reality TV, popular music, whether it's rap music, rock music, it doesn't matter, it becomes the way that you communicate. That is entertainment, and it has a space in our lives, but that's not the way that you communicate when you want to be taken seriously. I get on to the boys about texting me. I'm not one of your little friends. Like, I will not reply unless you spell it out. So if you want to elevate, if you want to be taken more seriously, take some time to actually communicate, speaking and in written form in complete words. That will help a lot. Oh, Elsie says, yeah, you speak fast. I love that you all are self-aware. And English is a difficult language. And yes, we do have a lot of slang. I think there's a lot of slang in every language too. Oh my goodness. Erin Laura says it's difficult when different groups of English speakers use different slang for the same words with different meanings. Like I say sofa, you say couch, or something like that. And I love this from Lisa. My mom started correcting me in my teens about saying, too much. She would say, no, I don't know. I love that. What would you say, Lucy?
I agree. That's how you know, that's how you call it out. That's how you call it out. And that's what your parents and aunties and grandmas, that's our job. When we see you using the wrong term, Big Ben, thank you so much. Thank you. When we see you using the wrong terminology, it's up to us to say, no, wait a minute. What was that again? That's not how you use it. And again, you of course you do it while you're in family gatherings, not in public, but you have to call it out. Otherwise, what you don't know what you don't know, and they don't know unless you say no, that's not the word to use in this instance.
I love that. We'll move to the last point and then get you all's engagement. This one is a short and sweet one, but I think very powerful. But first, let me say also thank you, Big Ben, for the $9.99 super sticker. No comment, no question, just the pure love of the elegance. So we appreciate you so much. Y'all don't even have to be here, but we appreciate it, especially when you go above and beyond. It shows us, and this community is powered by the men, and we feel safe and protected and encouraged to keep going because we know there's a lot going on, but you all choose to be here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so we'll come back to the chat in a moment. Vivienne's last point for day 8 is do not keep quiet. I'm sorry, do not just keep quiet to give an answer. Ensure you listen attentively. Ladies, this is a huge pet peeve of mine, and I have seen it, and it is, I think, beyond rude. It's happened to me twice. If you all follow me, you know I travel sometimes for my YouTube channel, and both of these experiences were in airports. I remember I had an early flight and I stopped at one of these like kiosks or something. I made it to my gate and I stopped at one of these little self checkout like snack things. Clearly, I like to eat. And I was getting a yogurt parfait and I'm looking around and I didn't see any spoons. And I wanted to have a little snack to take with me on the plane. So I see a woman and she worked there because she was like unstocking, she was stocking or doing something. So I'm at the self checkout by myself and I said, "Excuse me, ma'am." Silence. I thought, of course, busy airport, she can't hear me. So I walked a little bit closer and I said, "Excuse me, ma'am." And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. My blood is boiling just remembering it. That is so unprofessional and rude. And yes, it is 6 o'clock in the morning. And yes, you're unstocking or stocking at an airport. And yes, I have the gall to ask you if they have spoons for the yogurt that you're selling. Um, but I just thought to myself, do I really want to say what I thought? I had some very interesting thoughts, but that's when I realized, oh, she's intentionally ignoring me to see if maybe I will just leave or not ask her anything. And when it landed on me that she was like, that was her unanswer was an answer when I'm directly asking her a question. The second time it happened, I was traveling back and I had a bracelet on and it was a beaded bracelet and it popped. So I had, anyway, but it was going through security. And I asked the TSA, I said, "Do you all have any more of those Ziploc bags?" Because I had everything in the tray. I just wanted to collect it. He said, "If you ask over at the desk, they have some more Ziploc bags." Another woman at her station. And I walked up, I said, "Excuse me, ma'am." Silence, not even eye contact. And I thought to myself, she must have not heard me. And I leaned in and I said, "Excuse me, ma'am." Y'all, two times in one trip. I don't know why people who don't like people get jobs where they're around people. So it could be a whole other thing, but two stories to share with you all how unacceptable of a response that is. If you are having the worst day, you can say, "Give me just a moment, please," or "No, I'm sorry, we don't have spoons," or "I will get the Ziploc bag for you," or whatever. I didn't do anything to you. I don't know why you're here. I'm asking for help. Anyway, I could go on, but ladies, do not do that. It is entirely rude. There are ways to gracefully exit a conversation. And if we need to talk about that, happy to give some more appropriate examples. But yeah, not okay. Sorry, I went on a tangent. Lucy, what would you say?
That is so interesting. That is such a passive aggressive way to deal with customers. Wow. In my head, I would say, why would a reasonable person act or behave that way to give me time to, because that's not normal behavior. I mean, that is, it's very random. And imagine, you are one of the nicest people. Imagine if she does that to somebody that is about to, on that verge of just snapping. That's really interesting. Yes, that's so scary. So yeah, just think about even your behavior. Think about the behavior that you're going to be, because people mirror your vibes, your behavior, your face. So if you're a person that is constantly having issues with others, it might be that the other people are mirroring your whole mannerism or your face or the way that you speak to them. So that's, I mean, that is so interesting. I've never heard of that, but I can totally see it. It's a passive aggressive behavior.
Y'all, I'm having flashbacks. Isn't that what lead attorney says? Like, I'm having flashbacks. Like, literally, Aaron Laura says Maggie knows when to pick her battles and her woo-saws. So when I feel that rude energy, I immediately turn around and start walking away because here's a lesson, ladies. Don't ever let
You're muted. Muted.
it always happens. So here's a lesson, ladies. When I realized that I was being completely disrespected, and I felt it rising up in me because we are human, I immediately turn around and walk away. Because the lesson is, ladies, you never want to let anyone else's bad behavior make you have bad behavior. And I could have in my mind, y'all, I'm thinking everything you were thinking, like, who do you think and why are you here? And nobody did anything to you. In my inside voice, I just turned around and started to walk away. And you know what? My response, because I wasn't going to engage, I was just going to collect my little beads and put them in my pocket. The Ziploc bag lady chased me down. "Ma'am, ma'am." Maybe she thought I was going to tell her supervisor, but she was like, "I've got the bag. I just needed to go get it. Ma'am, ma'am." I'm like, "Oh, now we have a vocabulary. Oh, because you thought." Anyway, yes,
That
always
is so
say I'm here.
interesting that she say, let me get you a bag. I will be right back. That is so strange. It's such a strange behavior.
It is. Maybe I just looked a little too happy, zippity doo dah. But so yes, ladies, let me give you all some tangible things. You know, like we said, if it's not a good time, and we talked about this, or I've talked about this before, you can say so. Give me just a minute, ma'am. Let me finish unloading this box, or I'm typing a report. Can you just give me 2 seconds? You know, go ahead and time box it, but acknowledge someone. Okay. If someone now, if no one's talking to you, of course, you don't have to initiate a conversation. But if you are in a space where you are supposed to deal with the public, you should expect that the public may have a request of you. Um, if you're in a conversation with someone, a group conversation, or a one on one conversation, holidays are coming up, and you all know sometimes we are, you know, pinned down with somebody. It's like, oh my gosh, get me out of here. Here's what you can say: compliment sandwich, okay? It's been lovely to speak to you tonight. Positive. But I have to help in the kitchen, take a phone call, whatever it is. And then I wish you the best evening. So go ahead and find a way to exit gracefully. But the bottom line is that you are acknowledging that person. I don't know what they went through, and I didn't go, out of character, but that's a way that you can exit with grace, ladies. Okay. Ignoring is not okay. The last thing that Vivienne says is ensure you listen attentively. And I think we talked about that yesterday, really listening to people, making eye contact. And I think that's a big part of it, just acknowledging them, because we all are humans and we want to feel seen and heard, even if it's for just a brief moment. You never know what a smile and, just give me, 20 seconds, could do for someone. You just never know. Whoosah. Sorry, y'all. I thought I had it pushed down. Lisa says now we have a vocabulary, y'all. Ooh wee. Go ahead, Lucy. Let me just take some deep cleansing breaths.
Yes, acknowledgement. That's one thing that we all as people need. We need to be we wish to be acknowledged. The one day that you acknowledge that one person that was on the verge of losing it, and you tell them something, you give them a smile, that could be the day that you make or break that person. So be just a little more thoughtful when it comes to dealing with others in public and even with family members. Sorry, my dog. Somehow she decides to go to the bathroom when I'm paying attention to you all.
It happens. It totally happens. All right, we're going to go through the chat, but I love what Lucy just said about you never know what people are going through. And, a little bit about me, you all know me. I'm a naturally happy person. However, I really do intend to give you all that welcome, that warm, that smile. It is work. I have to be intentional about it. Sometimes when I, shut the camera off, I'm like, whew, let me go lay down. But I am well aware that there is a whole world outside and people are going through you don't know what. And so this brief time that you all spend with us, whether it's live or on the replay, I always want you to leave better than you found me. And so I'm very intentional about that. I know not everyone is, but ladies, when you think about elegance and you think about that interaction that you would have with the first lady or, anybody that is just kind of like, I love when I see, take any public figure and any small child, when they notice like a small child in a crowd or whatever, or somebody who's asking for an autograph, and they just take that moment to just acknowledge them and, maybe stop for a selfie, your favorite celebrity, but how it makes you feel. So I really try to give everyone, my best. So yes, ladies, we can do better. What is technological chaos? And he's here talking about texting. I love it. Thank you all for the hearts and the likes. He says texting is supposed to be for very simple, short, and straightforward responses, not complex stories. Oh my gosh. Y'all, the pages and pages of texting, absolutely not. Sometimes you just got to pick up the phone. And I don't know which generation it is. Is it millennials that are afraid of a conversation or something like that? Try to break out of that and just, it's okay. But having a conversation, I think there's so much in voice inflection that can be misinterpreted when texting. So use it. It's a tool, but it's not, I don't think it should be our primary mode of communication. And I'm a texter. What would you say, Lucy?
Oh, she is a texter. I can vouch for that. But she calls when she knows that it's going to be longer than two or three sentences. she either leaves a message or she calls because it's easier. I mean, if you think about it, it's easier to grab the phone and share your thoughts than to put them in writing. I mean, and we've also seen that a lot of people use that texting as receipts for when there's bad behavior. So think about that too. Just, limit that texting. Try to speak with people because we need to get back into more social grace, understanding each other when we look at each other, when we interact with each other. We've lost that because technology's been so fast and quick that sometimes it's easier to focus on non people needed skills. And again, I think that the world would benefit if we all started paying attention to our social graces.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. And here's another tip for you ladies. If you don't have time for an actual phone call, one thing I will do is a voice note. So if it's long, if it's going to be, a little convoluted, I'll send a text that says something like, because it could be at any hour of the day or night, and I'll just say, hey, sending a voice note. And so I'll actually speak what I'm thinking or my idea, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, just so that it comes across clear. So that's a tool you all can use. Kim K says, I would ask my mom, where are you at? And she would say behind that preposition at. Yes, okay, for our English scholars and our grammar girls, you should not end a sentence with a preposition. All right, so you would say, where are you, as opposed to where you at. That's a whole other conversation. But yes, ladies, and again, just listening to or reading a little bit more elevated or academic. You don't have to be a bookworm, but 5-10 minutes per day, it just helps. It just helps. Let's see, what else are you all talking about? Because we are done. How are you doing, Lucy? Are you good, or we need to wrap it up?
I think we're ready to wrap it up.
All right. All right, everyone. So, yes, thank you all so much. I love that when people use the words wrong. I'm just scrolling through here. All right, everybody liked my little story time. I got a little distracted tonight. Okay, well, thank you, ladies, so much for being here. We are here with you every day, November 1 through November 30. Turn on your notifications. We will be back tomorrow for day 9. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying this. Thank you for the support. Yes, I'm telling you. Oh, thank you, everyone. And our students are in the house. I appreciate it. All right. So we've gone through everything. So, ladies, listen before you speak, make eye contact, and make a connection because you never know who you're talking to. Until the next episode, we will see you all. Thank you so much, Big Ben and everyone. Lucy, any closing words?
And tomorrow we're on at 6 o'clock, right? And the reason
Yes.
I have to leave now, it's because tonight is my dad's birthday and we're
Happy.
celebrating it. So I need to drive over to the house and, get ready. So that's the reason. I could have gone much longer on this, but tonight is one of those nights that I can't. And tomorrow at
Yes, tomorrow,
nine
6 p.m.
o'clock,
Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Just turn on your notifications, y'all. We will figure it out one day at a time, and we will see you all then. All right. Yes, happy birthday, Dad. I'm glad you all love it.
you.
It's supposed to be 30 for 30, but you see how much we love being here with you all. All right.
Adios.
Adios, everyone. Dun, dun.